Hello everybody, Fat Mike here. This morning I'm going to show you how to land with the G1000 glass cockpit in the Cessna 172. Now you need to have the G1000 NXI, which is available for free download within the marketplace in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Once you get in your aircraft, get it fired up, first thing you got to do is set up where you're going. So have an idea where you're going. I'm going to a little airport that's just right here, less than 10 miles away, to do what we got to do here. So I can go ahead and just set up a direct path to KJKA and KJKA. Hit enter. Click this. Hit enter. Activate. All right. So we know where we're going. All right. So next thing we want to do, we can go ahead and take off and get headed that way. Now, this is an extremely bad habit that I'm teaching you here, and this is only to be used in an instance where you just don't know how to land the airplane, but you want to enjoy Microsoft Flight Simulator. But landing an airplane just seems like a big task to you, and some people it will. I mean, you know, it's all about a lot of visualization involved. So I'll get this thing taken off. We'll get up in the air. Go ahead and be setting up our autopilot here. We're going to be flying at 1,500 feet. Right, go ahead and set nav, flight level change, 74. Alright, so I'm flying on a heading bug towards this airport. I know that we're going to be landing on runway 27 down here. It helps if you go ahead and call your airport ahead of time. The reason I'm showing you this right here, you don't have to set this up till you almost get to your airport. Then you can use your heading bug or fly it manually to the direction of the airport you want to go. I need to be on the east side of this airport if we're landing on runway 270. So I'm gonna go ahead and make my way to the east side of the airport, put myself on that side of the airport. We're gonna do a fully automated landing. We will not have to touch the stick. Now, a lot of people's gonna see this and they're gonna be like, man, this is a horrible habit. You're breaking every rule in the book. You can't do this. Well, this is a simulator. It's not gonna be a very gentle landing. It's going to be on the line, but it'll get you on the ground. If you need a successful landing, it'll get you on the ground. So I'm hurrying up over here. The one thing we will have to control in this instance is the speed of our descent. We'll have no control over the angle, but we can control the speed. And using the speed and the flaps, we can flare the aircraft just a little bit. Not much, but it's going to hit the ground at about the same speed. So, okay, so now we've been flying. We've got to the airport we want to land at. Alright, it's in our GPS, that's where we're headed, and you know, we went ahead and set our heading bug to a different heading so we could get on this side of the airport, because I want to land coming this way. So what I can do now is I can go to procedures, assuming that this airport is selected and in your destination, and say select approach. Alright, hit enter. And then we're going to go down here where it says visual 27, and we're going to hit enter, and then we're going to make sure that we select straight as the approach. The transition will be a straight in transition to runway 27. Okay, leave everything else like it is, go to activate, yes, and then hit nav. Now what's going to happen here is you'll see this top of descent come up. we need to make sure, since we're going all the way to the ground, that our altitude is set to 0. Alright. Then we're going to go ahead and click VNV, which stands for vertical navigation. And we should see this VPTH come up on this screen. That is the vertical flight path. So it's going to keep us at these altitudes. Now this is not going to land us. When we get to final, we need to go over here and we need to click approach. Alright. So, like I said, we're responsible for our speed. Go ahead and speed up a little bit. Get on up here. The only benefit I can see from this is if, number one, you just can't land the plane, but you want to have some fun in the flight simulator. Number two, this is good for getting you used to controlling your speeds on approach and descent and on final approach. So now we are starting our vertical flight path down to an altitude of, they're calling for 984 feet and then on to 377 feet. So we're actually descending now. So we're going to go ahead and start pulling back on the throttle. We want to get down to about 80 knots. And we're entering the pattern. See, we're getting ready to turn on our straight approach. I do not have the stick. As you can see right here, everything's in autopilot. Alright, so it's turning on its final line up with the runway. We've got the speed down to about 80 knots. We'll go ahead and give it a notch of flaps. Once you see this white line right here, you can give it some flaps. That's not the case for every aircraft, but it is for the 172. Okay, so now we've got our speed to around 75 knots. When we hit our final, we want to drop that speed down to about 65 knots. The only thing you got to fool with right now is the throttle. We're just controlling that speed. So we're at 75 knots. Looking good with the runway. Now, you see this diamond here? The closer that diamond gets to this area, we're going to want to hit the approach button. This little green reticle right here is showing exactly where the aircraft's going to hit. So it's wanting to fly us down to 377 feet. Once this thing hits 377 feet, it's not going to want to fly us down anymore. At that point, we're going to have to hit the approach. So we'll go ahead and start slowing this airplane down to 65 knots. All right, we'll go ahead and click our approach. And what that's doing, you see it's bringing us on down. Give it another notch of flaps. Help slow the aircraft down some. Alright, we're at 65 knots. We want to try to keep this yellow mark right here on the flight director as close to the horizontal line as possible. We don't want to make a nose-in approach, but as we slow the aircraft down, it's going to try to pull the nose up a little bit to maintain a certain feet per minute descent. See how it's pulling up on it? I'm pulling back just a little bit on the throttle without stalling. Once I'm there, I'm going to kill it. And we've landed. I mashed the brake button. We're still on autopilot. And that's it. That's how you land with the GPS. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I appreciate everybody watching. I know some people are going to think this is bad advice, but if you got to land with the GPS, that's how you do it. Thanks, and y'all have a great day.